Okay, we're gonna get started. All right. Well, welcome everyone. And to those that are going to be joining us shortly. Today we're going to be talking about the AI-powered survivor guide to get you guys through what I'd like to call, a little bit of an economic downturn, but we're working on it and we're figuring it out. We're going to talk about how we're going to use automation to increase our sales and how we can get more sales out of our businesses. Today, we're going to talk. This presentation is about 40 minutes, and I have the video ready. Ask questions. Stop me if you have anything in particular, or put it in chat if you feel more comfortable, and we'll take it from there. My name is Miriam Golubgir, and I am the founder and the Chief Amazement Officer of Digital Marketing Experts. I've been at this for about 20 years, and my background is very technical, very little creativity, but very technical. I've been a digital marketer and a programmer and a website strategist for many, many, many years. So I come from a place of how can I take this massive advertising budget and turn it into something that, this little advertising budget and turn it into something massive for your small business. All right, so let's get started. Okay. We all know AI is here to stay. They're not going anywhere, and we just got to figure out how to use it to our advantage. There's three components into AI and how to use it effectively. Number one, how can I acquire a customer or customer acquisition? And this is where we can use Google advertising or Meta advertising. And platforms like Meta has the tool called Meta Advantage, and Google Performance Max is another tool that Google's offering. And you can use them to design ads, target particular clients, and be very creative with how you're going to optimize those ads. And it's a really cool tool. I've used both of them because what it does is it actually allows you to say, okay, I want to get all of these particular people because they're my perfect customers. And how can I get them to see my ads repeatedly? And if they've been on my website, can you show them my ads? And it does all of that for you. The other piece is that you want to use AI to create that conversation and sales support that people need. So, for example, on my website, I use a AI tool called Drift. HubSpot is a CRM system, and they have a very strong AI chatbot built into it. And when you build this into your website, and if someone has a problem, they go onto your website and they're trying to buy a product or they bought a product and they don't like it, they get to talk to you through those chatbots. So if someone's on my website and they start chatting with me, I get a ping on my phone that says someone's trying to chat with you, or I get it on my computer. So you as a small business can now qualify the people that are on your website if they need help, or if they're looking to kind of work with you, they're not 100%, they're still trying to chat with you and see if this is what they want to do, or they want to book an appointment and they have a problem. So this past Saturday, I have a problem with my shoulder. I found a mobile physiotherapist and I was able to, I have to let a couple of people in. There we go. I was able to go on his website and book a meeting with him immediately. He's coming in today at around 4 p.m. to my house to fix my shoulder, and it was all done online. So chatbots aren't just to answer questions. They're there to help you initiate that sales conversation that you want to have or increase your visibility with the people that are on your website. The other piece that's very important is analytics, because if you have a good, an area where you're selling your products and you're able to advertise and use all the cool advertising tools, and then you have the tools that are on your website like HubSpot or Drift to communicate with them, you also have to see what's the results of your effort. So you can use a lot of tools that, so for example, Google Analytics has a really strong predictive analytics built into it. if you're advertising on Meta or Google Ads, you can also use those to see the data, the traffic. What did they come from? What did they do? What did they buy? How long they stayed on my website? Did they click on my ad? What was their age group? How old were they? What's their gender? What's their buying power? How often they bought from me? All of this information is available, and you can use that information to kind of fine tune that lead that you want to get. Personalizing is important, and the AI allows you to do it. So, Seventh Sense or Jasper AI, they're fantastic and sending you helping you create that super personalized email campaign. I don't know if you guys have tried this with, if you're using, you can even do it with ChatGPT. You can message chat and put in a ChatGPT. I'm going to target this particular customer base that I have. This is the persona. Create an email so they can know that I'm happy with the items they bought from me, and I want them to be happy with what they bought. Is there any questions I can ask them? And that conversation and that personalization will help that client feel like they're standing out above everybody else. If I'm getting a personalized email saying, Miriam, thank you for buying that blue sweater from us. I found this, gray pants to go with that blue sweater for you. And then there's a picture of it. I'm more likely to buy that because it's customized to something they've already bought and they are matching what I've bought with something else. So personalization isn't just like, hey, Miriam, how are things going? It's adding a little bit more into the messaging. What did you buy? What your, shopping trends are like. Automation is a big one. A lot of people are now, if they're downsizing or if they're not even downsizing and they have team members and they want to, be more productive, what they do is they create automation. And you can automate certain tasks that AI allows you to do that. For example, you can use Zapier or Make or HubSpot or even Ops Hubs to automate things like moving leads from like a form into a CRM and then sending them a follow-up. Instead of having one person to do this, you can automate that with AI and get it done. And that kind of takes away like hours of work from somebody that was supposed to do that, and also keeps you very high functioning at your job as well. All right, so I put together a bunch of steps, and this kind of is a framework of how we're going to use the AI. So the first thing we want to do is identify the bottleneck, and then we want to kind of automate our leads and capture them and figure out how to nurture them. Then we want to deploy any sort of an ad that we can do. So if we're using Meta Advantage or if we're using Max Performance with Google Ads, how are we going to do that? And then automate content creation and repurposing. I'm a big believer in, if you're going to automate any sort of a content creation, that I'm going to talk about that in this presentation as well, and how to actually make it more relatable to your brand and to your voice, to how you present your business. So not just, come up with a topic, push it into Jasper or ChatGPT and be like, build me a content for this particular topic. No, put a bit of a time and effort and, use your branding and kind of, train your whatever tool you're using on how to sound more like something that you would say rather than something that's more automated. How to come up with customer retention is their step 5. And then step 6 is automating reports and insights. I'm a big supporter and a big believer in reports because reports tells us stories and important information that we wouldn't have been privy to them if we weren't in the online and digital world. So if we are here, we should take full advantage of it. And then how to continuously optimize. All right, let's get started with the first one. Write down every task that eats up your time. What are you going to do? Is it the follow-ups that you're having issues with? Is it scheduling reporting? Is it, going and looking for particular leads? And where is your team, you or your team repeats the same task every day? So figure out where are the issues? And when you make a list, what ends up happening is, I'm a big believer in building lists, because when I build a list, I see a different story than what's in my head. because if it's down on the paper, then I can see, okay, well, you know what, maybe this isn't a bottleneck. Maybe this is a problem that I'm having, or maybe no, this is a bottleneck because it took someone else in my team 10 hours to do it. Maybe we gotta fix this. The next step is you want to figure out how to automate leads and capture them. So, as I said, I have a chatbot on my website, and I've got maybe one, but a lot of people get multiple social media leads. And let's be realistic. We're not available 24/7. I'm not available 24/7. I have a set time and I like to have a life work balance. But because I'm not there, that you can automate what conversation you would like to have and build that follow-up sequence. So I built a sequence that works for me. You can build a sequence that says, well, if I'm not there, I want you to talk to me. Oh, sorry, go ahead. You have a question.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about this chat bots, but I have no idea. I'm very new to technology,
Okay.
and in the last couple of years, I've been learning a lot about AI and all that, and I've been using it. But also the HubSpots, and this is something that I don't totally understand.
Okay, so HubSpot is a customer retention system, which means you, instead of you having your customers written in like an Excel sheet, you can put it in HubSpot. And when you add it into HubSpot, what usually happens is um, you can put very key information. You can put information about, um, you know, hold on.
So is it like a program that I have to have in
Program.
my
Yes. So it's a software that you can use a free version, but the paid version is a really good one. However, there's other tools out there that I would recommend you
Mhm.
look at different tools and see what works for you. So for example, we use Zoho because I like Zoho. It's easy for me. I have
Mhm.
all my customers in Zoho, but then I connect Zoho to the chat bot that's on my website as well. You have to see whatever tool you get, how can you connect these tools together so they're all talking to each other? And if because you're new in this, there's the people at HubSpot and people at Active Campaign or at Drift, you can get on a chat conversation with them or pick up the phone and call them, and they'll walk you through how you can, integrate things together and make it work.
So
So,
something that is connected to your website. I heard, now I don't know if I'm correct. I heard there's a some kind of a program that is connected to your website that will tell you who visited, how many times, what pages was viewed. Is there
yeah.
something like that?
Yeah,
So
that's
what
Google
is that?
Analytics. So that is, if you want, you can call me after this conversation and I can walk you through some of these. I think
Okay,
you need to
okay.
have a little bit of a more of a, this is a little, you need a little bit
Basic?
more of a detailed,
Okay.
nitty-gritty detailed conversation. And I'd be more than
Oh,
happy to,
oh,
book a
then.
time with you. And I'll
Okay, thank
put,
you so much.
oh, you're more than welcome. I'm gonna put my uh, link to my calendar in the chat. You
Oh,
click on it and you can book a time with me.
okay, okay,
Okay.
that would be
And I
great.
can
Thank
walk
you
you
so
through
much.
some of the stuff you need.
Okay,
Because yeah,
thank you so much.
I'd rather have like a more in-depth
Yeah,
conversation with you about this
I
than
didn't
just
mean to interrupt, but I just,
not at all.
I
Perfectly
just thought, okay, before I forget, I know I've heard about it before, but I didn't understand. So now that you're mentioning that, it's like it's coming back, and
good.
I'm trying to
I'm glad.
understand that.
Listen, it's not an interruption. You need to know, you need to understand it. Ask. This is why we're doing this.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Um, the other piece I want to add in is that we have this thing called a funnel, and this is where we design, okay, I want you to go on my website and type in a chat saying I want to talk to Miriam, and then Miriam says, well, fill out this form or call me on this number, and that's the middle of the funnel. The top of the funnel is that you got onto the website, and then the bottom of the funnel is there's a plan. You either going to become my customer, or if you decided to fill up a form, or you don't fill up a form. So you got to figure out what is like after 5 p.m. is this funnel ending? And you're like, after 5 p.m., I don't care if you're gonna hire me or not, because I'm done. I want to go home and rest. Or you're gonna say, no, 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 I care. So here are all my leads, lead generation tools. Keep talking to me. I'll come back tomorrow and answer it, but don't go away. So that's another piece you want to kind of be more aware of it as well. I believe in ads because I see them work. However, I don't believe in all sorts of ads. I think you need to build ads based on who is your customer. Now, do all AI performance ads work well for your customers? No, because sometimes our customers are a little bit more technologically savvy. They're a little bit more skeptical. They're not always going to be like, oh, I saw your ad and I clicked on it and I found you. Sometimes they take their time. They rather hear from others. So you have to be a little bit more conscious with how you advertise and how often you advertise and why you're advertising. So you can advertise your Google ads and test it against your Instagram ads or your Facebook ads because you think your clients are there. Now, does that mean they're both going to cost the same? No, the budgets are different. So I would start with the smallest budget and work my way around it. You also want to allow algorithms to kind of find your new audience and optimize any sort of creativity you want to have. However, there's a bit of a caveat into that. If it doesn't match your brand, don't let the algorithms just to create a design for you. If your brand matters to you, make sure that your brand matches the sizing that you need for these ads and upload your branded content or your branded ads. Now, AI is fantastic at buying, ad space in areas that you need to be. And while you're sleeping, it can work well for you and bring customers. However, again, I'm trying to give you both sides of the story. It's great that it's working well for you, but if that person is expecting a call from you at 3 a.m., that's not the right person for you. So you have to make sure that if you're advertising, advertise at times that you can physically be there and connect with these individuals. And someone who's looking for your ad at 3 a.m., I'm not sure if this is the right group, the right audience that's going to be effective. So also before you advertise, make sure you're advertising to the perfect audience that you have. So instead of saying, I'm generalizing and say, I want to advertise to everybody that lives in Markham. No, don't generalize. Be very specific and say, I want to advertise to people that have bought products or services similar to what I'm selling. I want them to be between this age and this age. I want them to have this amount of money to be able to purchase or do X, Y, and Z. Be nitty gritty and detailed. Because when you do that, then you are not wasting advertising dollars because the amount of money you have to spend to get noticed is significant and you don't want to just spend it as is. Now, let's talk about the important thing. You can build anything using AI. You can write posts, emails, blogs, website pages, and biography about yourself. Create, a video script. You can build the video. You can do short clips. You can do long clips. There's so much you can do with AI. Now, this is where AI gets a little finicky, and I would highly urge you to be very specific. Before you start writing content on your Jasper or ChatGPT or Copy AI, tell the system what you want to do, who you are, what your business is about, what your business's brand is like, what is the requirement that you have for your customers, who is your customer, how old is your customer, what language is their preferred language, how often do they buy. Teach your system who you are and who your customer is. Because when you do, then all the content that system creates is designed towards your brand and your customers. There will be hiccups. So read what's written. It doesn't know how to grammar check and spell check. So make sure you have a secondary tool if you're using Grammarly or if you're really good with grammar. I'm not, so I use Grammarly that It's double check, triple check, so there's no spell mistakes, and don't overdo it. You don't need to send 900 emails and have a post twice a day, every day. Be very specific with the amount of information you create. Just because it's a tool that allows you to go buck wild and make as much post as you want, it doesn't mean necessarily you have to do it. So here are some of the tools you can use. So Jasper and Copy AI are fantastic for drafting any sort of a post, emails, or blogs. They're great for blog sequences as well. So remember that. You can use Pictory or Opus Clip to kind of transform your long videos into short videos. However, it's not smart enough to know where you want to break this video. So you have to watch your long video and tell it exactly where you want it to break it. And it's not the greatest at making a video for you without direction. So what I would recommend is write your video script. Write every word that you want to be said in that video script. When you're writing your video script, tell the system how long you want this video to be to create that script. Then find your little clips, build your video based on a script and the clips that you want to add in there. You should repurpose content because recreating brand new information ongoingly is great. There's nothing wrong with it. But sometimes you want to repurpose some of the work to kind of bring back that topic. Because if there's people that are reading this information you're posting, and that's what you should also do. You should make content that people are actually reading rather than willy-nilly just post content ongoingly. Make sure you're posting content because there's someone sitting on the other end that's going to read it. Do not make, long be-winded blogs that, has a long story behind it. Break it into smaller stories. Make sure that the story you created is super, it doesn't have to be super short, but it's short enough to get me with my, really short attention span to read it. Because that's the purpose of this content, not just to flood the internet with information. It's to get that person who's interested in your services or your products to read your content. I care about customer retention, which means I want to keep that customer happy and keep them around for as long as I can. So what I would recommend is there's a tool called Klaviyo, and it's like an email. It's a CRM / emailing / so many different features that it has. What you can do with it, or OmniSend, or even MailChimp, is to allow to use their predictive churn models. What that means is that they kind of predict if I want to churn this customer, this potential client into a full-fledged customer, what model works for your business. Now, that's an added value that's added through Klaviyo or OmniSend or even MailChimp. I'm not sure if MailChimp has it, but I'm pretty sure Klaviyo and OmniSend has it. It's an added value that you have to buy in addition. But it's a really interesting model to look at because it looks at what you've done in your business, and that business model has to be like, you have to use Klaviyo for a lot longer than like 1 day to kind of be able to use that feature. Because then what it does is it takes all what you've done and create that model and says to you, okay, well, this is the way you have to move forward in order to be able to churn these potentials into a full-fledged. Make sure you send tailored offers to retain these customers, especially before they become disengaged. Because if I'm on your website and I'm buying something and I didn't buy it, but I put it in my shopping cart, get me then. Get me when I put it in the shopping cart, but I didn't do anything about it. Don't wait 2 weeks after I put something in your shopping cart because I've already bought something else off of Amazon. And you want to get me when I'm ready, and make sure that the messaging you send me is very tailored towards what I had just tried to purchase and didn't do it. Because retaining me that was already on your website and I was in your shopping cart is actually cheaper than you putting ads and trying to get somebody brand new. So make sure if you're, for example, using Shopify, or even WordPress websites to use the AI fields or AI plugins and the AI apps that they have that allows you to retain customers. And that's all available in their app store or their plugin section. You might have to pay for it, but it's a good option. I believe in reports. I look at reports every day. So Looker Studio by Google is a free tool. You just got to figure out how to build it or use a third party like me to build it for you. Dash This is another tool, free to use, but you have to, Dash This, you have to pay for a monthly fee and then somebody to design it for you. But what it does is that, so let's say if you're advertising on Google, on Facebook, on that's just the advertising, and then you have YouTube videos running, and then you have your website. What it does is it allows you to take the information from every corner and turn it into like one dashboard where you can see what everything looks like. And again, that comes very handy, especially because you can schedule it that every Monday it comes into your mailbox and you can look at it and say, okay, well, how did I do? Did I make a dent in my sales? And if I didn't, why didn't I do it? On the weekend, did I have people come on my website and, to spend 2 minutes on my website? What happened after that? So you want to make sure that this information is available for you to see and make it that it's simple for you to understand. And it's based on the key performance indicators that matter to your business, not just anything that it's out there. You want to schedule audits and refine your automations. You want to look at what you've done in the past 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, and be like, okay, I did all this work. What did I gain from it? And if I didn't gain from it, let's get it out of the way. It's not going to work. We're not going to do it again. It's done. But if I did gain from it, how am I going to optimize that so I can get more and more and more out of it? Ask yourself what can be eliminated, streamline, enhance with AI this quarter. And be very specific and selfish. And look at your budget and see, if I do this with AI, is this going to put a dent in my budget or is this going to affect my business? And if it's going to affect my business in a good way or in a bad way, if it's in a good way, it's worth it. Now, automation isn't just like a one-time project. It's like a system that you're building. So it means that it needs to be maintained. So if you're building an automation and you're like, okay, so I know I'm going to put this, and let me explain this in a simple term. Automation means Miriam doesn't have time to pick up the phone every time someone calls. So she's going to put a chat bot, and since she's online doing work, when the chat bot pings on her website, she's just going to answer this person. And then, wait a minute, she also has to, once she answers them, gets them to call her now. So she does need to be in front of the phone so they can know there's a real person in the back end. And then she needs to put it in her system that, oh, I talked to, Bob, and I need to follow up with Bob in 2 days. And that needs to be automated, meaning once I put it in there, I need to get a ping in 2 days or 2 weeks to call this guy. So you have to build a sequence of what you're going to do to grow your business. Let's talk about a case study. So there's a mid-sized HVAC company in Calgary, and they were struggling with leads. In 2024, as you know, there was a lot of businesses that were, slowing down. So these guys, their service calls were slowing down as well. So what they did was they put a simple system together. It was like a HubSpot chatbot, and it captured all the leads 24/7 from Facebook. So they had an ad running on Facebook, and they were capturing that. And then while they had also, they built a Zapier as well. And then that was pushing the leads into their HubSpot CRM. And then that, when it would go in there, then automatically they assigned a rep to that. At the same time, they shift their ad spend to, instead of just buying little ads here and there, they turn it into a performance max, and they let AI drive the bidding. So that way they can always come on top. So what was the result? their lead response time dropped from 48 hours to 5 minutes. And that's a big one because if I can get what I need in 5 minutes, that means I'm going to stick with you guys. So that means their ad spend efficiently improved by 40% as well. And their monthly revenue grew, and they reduced their advertising budget. And they didn't hire any new staff. They hired an AI system that never slept. And that AI system helped their business grow. Okay, let's recap. What we want to do, we want to identify the bottlenecks and automate what we have to do. Let me open this shit. Oh, sorry, okay. Paola, give me 2 seconds. Let me go over this and I'm going to answer your question. I just saw your question. So what you want to do is you want to use AI for acquisition, whether you're running ads, and then retention or any sort of a churn prevention. And then engagement, you want to use chatbot. You want to leverage predictive analytics to spend smarter. You want to automate content creation and like report to save time. You also want AI. So I said also AI in 2025 isn't just an option. It's becoming a survival tool. And a lot of your business and a lot of SMBs and small businesses have to figure out how to embrace this. And again, this will give you a competitive edge against your competitors, but you have to be very smart with how you're going to do this. And you don't need a bigger team. You just need to have a smart system and you need to write everything down. Because when you, and by that, I don't mean get, I mean, pick up a piece of paper and a pen and write it down and say, you know what, I just need to figure out what my plan is, and then come back in 6 months and see the results. Add a number beside everything that you decided to do. Did I grow this by 10%? What's my objective for the week or month after that? All right, so let's go to the questions. I don't have a lot of employees, and this is a lot of new learning for me, and that will take an enormous amount of time away from running my business. Are there any companies that we can hire to do this? Yes. So guys, I'm gonna put in my give me 1 second, and I'm gonna put in my Calendly link in here. And I think you should definitely connect with me, and I'd be more than happy to figure out what we can do to help you both. Same with Jacinta. Did I say it correctly? Is it Jacinta?
Yes.
Okay. So I put my calendar link, click on it and book a time, and I'd be more than happy to discuss this with you. Now,
And I think somebody else, I think it's Paula.
Paola, yeah, same with, I said Paola, yeah, same with Paola. Absolutely connect with me. I think one thing we have to keep in mind is that this sounds a lot and it's
Yes.
brand new.
Yes.
So it sounds terrifying, but it's actually bringing in logic and in very short forms, attach the logic to your business and continuously look at it. Because I like, as Paola said, am I saying it correctly? Paola.
Paula.
You're
Paula.
trying to run a business. And when you try to run a business, you don't have time to, now I'm going to, oh my God, I have to like check my sequences and build a sequence and then I have to automate. No, no, no. It takes like plan it, automate it, let it do its thing, but watch from the far and make sure it doesn't mess up. Because you got to remember, at the end of the day, this is a machine learning. This is not you and me to use its logic if things goes down. All right, so book a time. Let's have a chat with me. Is there any other questions? Did you guys have any questions?
I guess there's lots, but we're trying to process what you're saying.
Okay, and let it process.
Actually, there's a question I did have earlier about the videos, right? I do create YouTube videos,
Mhm.
and my clients have been telling me that I should create shorts. Of course, I can, and I know that there's a way to um, break the existing video into short pieces, right? And there is I think it's a CapCut or something that you,
CapCut. Yep.
yeah, you upload it and then
Mhm.
it cuts it for you. So will the AI cut it in a way that that piece is actually good
No,
piece?
no.
So how do that, because you mentioned something about, you know, I want it in such a way that it cuts where it is needed. Because what
Okay.
I create is a podcast and also meditation, but it's more the podcast I want to cut it because they are like inspirational pieces.
Okay. So this is why I said you need to write the script first, because if you want to use Jasper or Content AI or Chat GPT to write the script, or if you want to
Mm,
write it yourself, I would actually prefer if you write it yourself.
mm.
But if you do it with any of these AI tools, and if you say, I want to capture a 30-second script. So what it does is it condenses the script that you want to create in 30 seconds. What you currently have, there's actually a woman that I met um, at the Toronto board event. She has an AI tool that cuts your remind me to tell you her name. I just can't remember right now, but when you book a time with me, remind you. Sorry, my apologies. Remind me to tell you her name because her tool was the closest it came with making it look legit. However, the proper way of doing it is when you do your podcasts, have a secondary script for your short clips. So
Oh,
record your short clips separate. Um,
oh.
and I'll tell
But
you what.
then you record them separately, but you don't use a whole video to
You
cut it.
There are
Uh,
tools that allows you to do that,
yeah.
but you got to tell it cut it at like 2 seconds or cut it at 30
Oh,
seconds or cut it when I 31 seconds because that's when I finish my sentence.
it- yeah.
But
So I don't mean to cut you off, but because I don't want to forget what I had in my mind. Say, for instance, you have the script, and you just kind of say, okay, please cut it. And so, do you actually, with CapCut, okay, you put it in, it does cut it for you, but then it only gives it to you if you have the paid version.
and then it puts that cap cut at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. So it gives you it only gives it to you when you have a paid version,
Yeah.
right? So let's say, for instance, I do have a paid version. I put it in, and can I tell it that cut it at so and so time
No,
stamp?
no, no. Because I mean you could. Okay. I don't know about CapCut. Do you have the paid version for the CapCut?
No, I don't have any paid
Okay.
version of any
Just
AI.
just put a pin on that. Message me and remind me to tell you about the woman
Okay.
that I met with the AI tool that
Okay.
cuts because I really liked hers. She did a presentation. It was a really good tool. I didn't like the quality, but then I guess you had to pay for it. But then that one, because it was AI, you would have the ability to tell it, cut it at 31 seconds, and then make sure that it has like a closed caption at the bottom.
Or
Um,
a quick question, something came to my mind. I create the video on Canva. So
yeah,
maybe I can use a Canva, do a copy, and then cut it from there and do an upload as
I
shorts.
have to see what you're talking about. So
Okay, so when
yeah,
when when
show
you
it to
mean,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, hold on. Please contact. Yeah, okay. Hold on. It says something went wrong. Hold on 1 second. Were you able to connect with me on
I am just going to I just
okay. Paola, I'm gonna message you. I just have to figure out. Give me a second, let me write this down. aromasworldkitchen.com. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. I just want to make sure I got the right.
Oh,
Oh, I got it. Paula, I'm going to reach out to you. And I'm going to send you, just expect an email from me shortly, okay? If you are having problems, I'm going to put my email address in here as well and my office number. And I'd be more than happy to help you with anything you need help with. There we go. Oh, sorry, Andy said something. Sorry, no, Adian said something. My apologies. If we use so many AI tools, will the system be not expensive? So that's a very good question. That's an excellent question. Now, it will be, but it will be still cheaper than having like a full-time employee sitting there doing things. And then, so my experience has been when I hire, let's say, I have contractors. So my contractors are, people that have been at it for 30, like 20 plus years. One person's been at it for 30 years. That's a different story. But if I have to hire someone on like a, brand new business person to come and do some work for me, there's always that learning period where, they're going to need a little bit of time to learn about my business. And then there's a little bit of a, I have to leave room for mistakes. And I'm still paying for that till they're at a level that they're comfortable with my business and what I do. I find with some of the AI tools, you're taking that cost away. Now, I'm a big believer in, employing someone local and working with, local people. I think that's really sad that I'm saying this, and I do not want to say this, but the expense that you're paying is significantly less than, having someone employed and doing the work for you. And again, if you build your marketing budget and add this into your marketing budget and look at it from like, bird's eye view, you'll notice that it's not that expensive in the long term.
so I have a question. What is considered to be, I mean, for those of us who are solopreneur, right? And we're just starting out and we're trying to do everything ourselves. But what is really considered a realistic budget for marketing?
It all depends on what you can afford, because I have a client who, I spend thousands of dollars in advertising for them because they're bringing in, you got to look at, there's a formula. And the formula is that what's the value? Okay, I'm going to answer that in a second. What's the value of a client that you bring in? So let's say your client, let's say your client is, it's going to cost you like, so each client's worth about, let's say $100, okay, $100. So let's say this one client a month is $100. In order for, things to work out for you, you need, let's say, $3,000 just to make, the business operate for that month. You should take 20% of that $3,000 and that should be your marketing budget.
Okay, because
Okay.
it was kind of tough because, when you're starting out and you're trying to do everything yourself because you really cannot afford, you cannot afford the paid version of AI, paid version of whatever programs that are out there or AI tools, right? And so then how do we realistically say what can we budget? Okay, we need to somehow put a budget, right? So I mean, that's a good
Yeah.
way. Yeah, thank you for
I always say 20% of your revenue for that month.
like basically we kind of project how much we want to earn and then take that 20% from that.
And again, everybody's different. Every month is different. And
Yeah.
Gian, I think I hope this answers you as well. For context, we sell car parts made by carbon fiber. We are also in the process of product catalog expansion. It's so funny. I'm working with another client who does carbon fiber car parts as well, but they work with Lamborghini and Porsche and all those guys. I'm not sure if that's your target audience as well. So they their revenue is, in the hundreds of thousands a month. So their advertising is also and what they're spending for their, automation is significant. You got to see, as I said, like what makes sense for your business. Like I can't give you a set revenue, but what I can give you is that it needs to make sense that if you are automating, okay, this is the way I would look at it is, how much would it be to hire an intern for a whole year? And if that intern, and I mean an intern that, is a little bit on the pricier side where they are fully knowledgeable in writing, they're fully knowledgeable in graphic design, 45K. Okay, so I will promise you, even at $100 per subscription a month, it's not going to be 45K. So, and you don't want every AI tool out there. You want to test the AI tools and see which one works best for you. So, and I'll explain. I have a client who's been using, they had a content writer. The content writer came back and said they want $90 an hour to write blogs. I see value in that because it's very unique. They were like, well, we don't have that kind of money to spend that. So they bought a subscription. I think it was like 30 or $40 for ChatGPT. They spent 2 days explaining to ChatGPT what their business was about, and they just made short content, text content using ChatGPT. It works for them. Is it working for their business? Yeah, because they have their blogs taken care of now. They have an email sequence they built using that, the content they got from ChatGPT. They put it in their MailChimp. Now they send out their emails. And then they also bought a subscription of $150 for Canva, and they actually use the AI portion of Canva. At $150, let's say another $30 a month, we're still a lot less than 45K a year. So that two components are a big component. The chatbot that you put on your website, let's say it's about, another $200 a year. And then, sorry, Canva is $150 a year, the subscription, not a month. My apologies. And then you just add in, I want to say HubSpot is at $80 a month, still way below 45. And the good thing about HubSpot is that it actually is your CRM for a really long time, for as long as you decide not for it not to be your CRM. And you might not even need an MailChimp or any sort of an emailing tool, because you can use HubSpot to connect with your lead captures that you're getting and emailing them. So you got to break down what your monthly and annual cost for each one of these tools are, and if this is your 20% of your marketing budget. I hope that answered. Okay, one last question. Sorry, taking so. Oh no, you do not ask question. I'm perfectly fine with it. How is it system different from AI agents? Explain that. Just unmute yourself and explain that, if you can.
So we know that we see a widespread use of AI agents to deploy various tools. How is this system? So is this a part of like the AI agent system, or is it different from like the automation workflow that you outline? Is this similar to what AI agents would do, or is it different from that?
Oh no, it's I just told you about what I explained is it's not one tool, it's a variety of tools that you get to use. So if you use an agent AI, or you use a variety of tools and stick them together and to create that integration, it's the same thing. The difference is that some of those AI agents, they book a call for you, they set up the appointment for you, and it automatically gets attached to your CRM. So if that's going to cost you even at $2,000 a month or $1,000 a month, that's absolutely worth it, because they do, some of the AI agents, they even do cold calling for you. Like, just to hire a company to do cold calling alone is about $2,000 a month on like the lowest ends. So, and I just actually, it is $2,000 a month, because I just talked to someone about it. And yeah, it's $2,000 a month, but the agent sounded like a normal human being. It knew how to answer every question, and it booked a time and then put it in the CRM system. I watched the whole thing and I was absolutely in shock what it was able to do. Excellent. Jacinta, we will be chatting.
So I actually, when I just sent you, when I was booking you, then I got booked at the same time. So my meeting will finish at 3:30.
When did you book it? Oh, I see it. That's fine.
So that's okay, 3:30 instead of 3:50? Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm fine with
Thanks.
it. I see it. It's perfectly fine. All right. One last question. You're more than welcome. All right, guys. I'm gonna post this online. Your questions will be posted online. I'll have the presentation added online in a PDF, and I will send you all an email. And you can go ahead and download everything and have it. And if you have any questions, book a time with me, as I said, and we'll go over everything.
Thank you so
And
much,
you will
Mariam.
send,
You're more than welcome. Have yourself a fantastic day, everyone.
and you'll send the
You as
video from previous workshop.
Yeah, I'll send you everything. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Okay,
Take
see you
care.
then.